Welcome back to Conversations with
Chris
and Crystal. What's the matter?
I don't know. I just feel kind of guilty.
Get over it. Okay, so what are we talking about today?
Guilt.
Ah!
Surprise, surprise.
Who knew? Alrighty, what have you got for us today?
Well, we're wondering, first off, what do you feel guilty about? And should you really be carrying that burden? Do you need to feel guilty?
No.
You know?
Yeah, no.
So, I have five questions
They're
for
over
you.
there. Yeah. Okay.
All right. I have 5 questions for you,
Okay.
and a bonus tip to change how you're going to look at guilt.
Okay.
And we also want to talk about the consequences of feeling guilty, because guilt can cause you a lot of problems. And you had some things that you wanted to say about consequences of guilt, like what it does to you.
Yeah, it does things emotionally, mentally. It destroys tissue in your body. It can cause stress, which then can cause disease, or as we call it, dis-ease in your body. Your body just is not dealing well, and you're carrying it around. And one of the things too is to forgive yourself and forgive others and let it go, because your body can only do so much. You only have so much room. There's so much to, like I tell my brothers, pace yourself through your life, because this body has to carry you through many, many moons. And
Because none of us know how long we have.
Right. So I would say, let that go. And nobody really cares either. You feel guilty because you did something to somebody, or you said something to somebody. Half the time they don't even remember it.
Yeah.
They don't even think about it anymore, and you have to get through that. I will say this about that though. I did that with a girlfriend of mine. She said, "All right, I just want to tell you this. This is how I feel about you. I don't like the way you did this. And now I'm done with it." And I said, "Well, good for you." I said, "Because now I'm going to carry it around for a month at least." And it's not guilt. It was more, I could not understand what she was saying.
And
That's
why
the
she
whole-
felt she
yeah,
needed
that's
to
a
tell.
whole different situation. But again, just deal with it within yourself, because it doesn't mean anything to anybody else.
And it's the hardest thing, I think, for people to do, people with a conscience anyway, is to forgive themselves.
Yes, we don't.
Because God forgives us, and then He forgets. He's like, okay, you're forgiven, it's gone.
Yeah.
And then we sit here and we complain. We think, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh Lord, I'm so sorry. And He's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, he doesn't even know. It's like, okay, I missed that one.
Yeah, we need to learn to choose to forget also, because once you've
Yep,
confessed, you're done.
it's gone.
And the first question to ask yourself in a situation is, did you do the best you could? Because, like, for instance, I'm taking care of my mom right now, as you all know. And, sometimes something will happen and, she might get bruised by something I did, and then I feel horrible. But did I do the best I could? Did I intentionally try to hurt her? No. Right, but did you... so if you did the best you could, say somebody in your life dies, and you didn't get to say goodbye, and you feel horribly guilty about that. Maybe you couldn't get there, because if you could have gotten there, you would have. Or if it was a sudden thing, how were you to know?
Right.
So, and if you feel bad because you didn't get to say goodbye, do it now. Because, we're all made of energy, and energy never dies. You cannot destroy it. You cannot create it.
Yeah.
So they can still hear you. So you can
Yeah.
tell them, goodbye, I love you, I'm sorry I wasn't there. And they'll know. And just, you'll be free. So just go ahead and do that.
And I think you can look at the fact that, if that is a situation of yours where somebody has passed away, and you missed it, the thing with that is they have gone to another plane that we cannot conceive of. We can't imagine it. It tells us in the Bible, if we did, we would explode.
Yeah, our head would
because
explode.
we're just too
We're mortal humans.
very mortal,
Yeah.
extremely mortal. Can't even imagine it. So imagine them moving on to another realm that you cannot imagine. Did I say that right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they're probably, they have no thoughts of this earth anymore.
Not anymore. They're gone. Yeah, that's it. They are happy where they are. they have peace. Well, as we always like to say, they've gone to a better place. Well, then let them go, and don't feel like you have to hang on. Just let them go.
And again, with the caregiving thing, there are some people who cannot afford to leave their jobs. Like I left my job to do this. Some people can't do that. Like if you've got a family of your own, you've got house payment and all this stuff. I'm single, so I just sold my house and moved in with my mom, no big deal. But if you can't do that, or you can't help because of time, and you can't help because of whatever reason, and you have to have them be in a long-term care facility, and you feel guilty about that, again, did you do the best you could? Yes. If you can say yes, then don't feel guilty.
Yeah.
And your loved one should understand. And another thing, like, it's frustrating to be a caregiver sometimes. And sometimes I've lost my temper. I've never, like lashed out at my mom. I may have yelled. Sometimes I yell out of fear, and I always tell her afterwards, I'm sorry, I didn't mean if I scared you, but I was scared or whatever, and then let it go. Because sometimes that happens, and frustration, we all deal with frustration in different ways. I got frustrated once. I hit the wall with my fist, and then I had this big old bruise on my
Good job.
which is bad. And I think this is partly why God is having me do this, is to try and get me more under control of myself.
Yes. Yeah. Well, to have that self-control,
Yeah.
that's a gift. And
Yeah.
I remember screaming at two of the dogs that I had, and they both sat there and looked at me. They looked at each other, and they looked back at me like, do you have any idea what she's trying to say? And I thought, oh, this is a waste of time. So I never did that again. It did nothing. You can't, they don't, nope, doesn't happen.
Yeah, and for me, it's not like yelling at her. It's yelling out of the frustration because it just builds up in you. But, sometimes you have to do that if you're like me and that happens to you. But the point is, do your best. And if you did the best you could, you did, and go on.
Yeah.
Now, the second one that I started to lead into here is, was it an accident? So if you didn't do it intentionally and you did everything you could to help, then you can let go of the guilt. Because, for instance, like I said, if I'm helping my mom, like one day, she was walking, I was behind her, and she lost her balance, and I couldn't catch her, and she slid to the floor. She didn't really fall to the floor, but she slid down to the floor. I felt bad, but I did the best I could. It was an accident. We got her back up and everything, and she was okay. I don't think she even got bruised from that. No, she did. She got a bruise on her shin from it.
Okay.
But it was an accident, and
Yeah.
she knew that, and I knew that, and nothing to feel guilty about.
Right.
So the third one, did you learn something from it? So some of us have to learn things the hard way sometimes. And most of my life I've had to learn things the hard way. It's School of Hard Knocks. And I feel, and again, I felt bad about that because it's like some people, they just know. Like Crystal, she's, she just knew what she knew about certain things. And I didn't. And I let things happen in my life that I shouldn't have let happen. But I learned from them, finally.
Yeah.
After many years.
Many years, yes.
But I learned, finally.
Yeah.
It's like the donkeys. Sometimes you have to whack them in the head with a 2x4 to get their attention.
Yeah.
So I feel like that a lot in my life. But I finally did learn from it. So, but years of guilt, years and years and years of guilt. And it's like I just said before, the Lord forgives us and he forgets immediately. And so I finally got to the point where I was like, I've confessed this sin. God has forgiven me. Time to forgive myself and let it go. And so, that's what you need to do. If you learn something from it and you're not doing it anymore, forgive yourself and let it go.
Yeah. I think guilt leads to worry as well. We become worriers. We worry about everything.
Like, is it going to happen again?
Yes, or you feel the guilt in that way. You're not sitting there going, oh, I feel so guilty. You're sitting there worrying about everything. What if this happens? What if that
yeah.
happens? What do I do here? Because it comes from a guilty conscience that you're allowing it to. I'm
Feed
not.
on
I,
you,
I'm
yeah.
not. I'm not. I don't feel guilty. I'm just worried.
Well, and yeah, like, and parents especially, because with their kids, you know,
Yeah.
if a kid gets hurt, then you feel guilty when you shouldn't. I mean, if you weren't the one that caused them to get hurt, like they slipped outside, they're running around and they
Yeah,
tripped and they
yeah.
skinned their knee. What you're really feeling is not guilt; it's feeling compassion for them. You're feeling
Yeah.
bad
Yeah.
because they got hurt, and
Yeah.
you want to protect them, but you can't wrap them in bubble wrap.
No,
You know?
well, you can, but it just really doesn't.
It doesn't
it's not
work
very
that well,
effective.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, that leads to the worry too.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, we worry about everything, and that's who are we to worry?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't add one thing to our life. One
God
minute
did
to our
not
life.
give you a spirit of fear.
Yeah, so that's yeah, they're in God's hands. That's
Mm-hmm.
where it works. Yep.
Okay, and number 4, are you a different person now? Which actually stems from number 3. Did you learn something from it? So, are you a different person now? When you were young, you may have done some things like that you're not proud of.
Or stupid things.
Yeah, or stupid things, and you're like, why did I do something so stupid? Well, just confess and repent. You may not be able to make amends. It may not be possible, or it may not be necessary. So, like, for instance, as a young child, I stole a piece of candy from the store, you know. Of course, I felt horribly guilty afterwards, but, you know, you confess your sin and repent. And I never stole candy again. But at my age, to go back to the store, oh, you know, I stole some candy when I was 5, you know,
Yep.
it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're a different person now, then you don't need to feel guilty about it anymore.
Yeah. No, you have to let that go, because God has let it go. As far as the east is from the west, you know, which is, you know,
A long way.
yes, a very long way. He doesn't remember anymore, and for you to keep hanging on to this stuff is just not good.
It's not helping you.
No, it's not healthy.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Well, and it doesn't help you to serve the Lord either, because
No.
you've got all this stuff clouding your mind. You
Yeah,
can't be
that's a
open to
good
what
point.
He's-
That's a good point. A lot of people say, "What is my purpose?"
Yeah.
with God, and I think I've answered that question with, "We are here to love others and to serve." That's it. That's your purpose. I don't know which serving you're going to do, but pick one, pass it down, start somewhere, and then move as God shows you. But don't sit around going, I just don't know what my purpose is. I just don't know why I'm here. I just don't know what I'm supposed to do. What am I supposed to do? I don't know. But I've got friends who are doing this for years and years, and not doing anything else.
Yeah,
So
that's not
get up, start moving, move, and He will move. Yeah, if you're, well, like my girlfriend said, God can't steer a parked car. So go ahead.
Well, the 5th one is, did you actually even do anything to feel guilty about? I had a friend, it's that same friend that I used to call on Saturdays, and she never called me. She would sometimes say, you know, sometimes she was a teacher, and she would say, sometimes I feel like guilty, and I don't know why. And I'll ask myself, did I hurt a child? No. Did I do this? No. And, you know, she said, I just don't understand why I feel guilty when there's no reason for it. Well, there are reasons, but not what you would think. Sometimes guilt comes on from stress. Like, you're stressed out about something, and so then you lose, like in her case, lose sight of, did I do something that I don't remember doing?
Yeah.
It can happen from OCD. If you've got OCD, you can start feeling guilty for no reason and thinking, is there something I missed or whatever? Depression can bring on feelings of guilt. And depression can also bring back all those horrible things in your past, and they can just attack your brain with it, and you just have to live
That's it. That's it.
Another thing that can cause guilt is unrealistic expectations. So, like, if you're, for instance, I'll just use a complete exaggeration, but say, oh, I'm going to go hike Mount Everest, and you don't make it all the way to the top and you feel guilty, it's because you had unrealistic expectations. Very few people have made it to the top of Mount Everest, for crying out loud.
And come back.
Yeah.
That's another problem.
Oh,
Okay.
And taking on too many tasks. So you can only juggle so many plates, keep so many plates spinning before it's too much for you. So if you're getting voluntold,
Yes.
too many times, and you're just saying yes, 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 you got to learn to say no.
Yeah,
because
you
it's not healthy to try to do everything. You can't do it.
You can't. You shouldn't be doing it.
No.
That's not necessarily your task.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you got to learn to say no.
Right.
Okay, so that's the 5 questions to ask yourself. And the bonus tip I have for you is
Yay, bonus. Okay.
guilt can help you to develop empathy for others. So, if you feel guilty about a certain situation and you see somebody else in that situation, that can help you to feel empathy for their situation. It makes it easier for you to warn them, like this, if you do this, this is probably what's going to happen.
Right.
And if they ignore you and do it anyway, then it's also easier for you to comfort them because you can say, look, I did the same thing. It gets better.
Yeah.
And it's easier to forgive them if they've done it to you.
Yeah.
And you've
Yeah.
done it to somebody else, then you know what it's like. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
So guilt can help you with that. And the last thing I have to say about guilt is every day is a new opportunity to get it right. So, just do the best you can, learn from your mistakes, keep going, and
Soldier on.
yeah.
Yep. And just keep at it, and just keep forgiving yourself. That's
And
something
others.
the forgiving yourself is the one nobody does.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what if you have to.
It's hard, but you got to do it.
You got to do it. You've just got to, and you don't have to go up to somebody and say, will you forgive me or anything like that,
Yeah.
unless they ask. People will ask sometimes, you were mean to me, why can't, and it's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean for it to come off that way, and then move on. And I'm not saying that's easy, but yes, you can move on. Okay.
That, and when you're forgiving other people, you don't have to go up to them and say, I forgive you for what you did.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that.
Half the time they don't remember it.
Yeah.
That's the really scary part when they do that, when they're like, what? When
Yeah.
did that happen? It's like, why couldn't I just be more like that? Those people that don't even think about
Or
it anymore.
They might even just be saying that. They really do remember.
Oh, maybe. Well, you kind of know when they do that. They're
Yeah.
manipulative. You
Yeah,
kind of
that's
see it
true.
in their face. But yeah, it's, yeah.
But yeah, you just, just let it all go.
Yes, let it go. There you go.
So thanks again for watching us.
Yes, and we hope you've learned a little bit more about guilt and how to deal with it and how to look at it and to forgive yourself. And just remember, take care of yourself because nobody else will.